Hi, everyone. It's A Ticket to Christ. Thank you for tuning back in. We're in the last in the series of the power of God. We were just talking about and focusing in on that we serve a powerful God, and that there is nothing God cannot do. So Jesus said in Matthew 19:26, with God all things are possible. And from Genesis to Revelation, we see the power of God to heal, deliver, rescue, provide. God's power in his humility, God's power in his justice and his mercy. Just the incredible and astounding power of God over the elements, right? Jesus walking on water, calming the seas. The Israelites in front of the Red Sea, God just parts that sea. Like, there is nothing. And you see, and I think it's Ezekiel, you see the dead bones, live. Just the power of God. Whatever God says, whatever God decrees, it's done. There is nothing more powerful. There's no one more powerful than the God that we serve. And I think a lot of times we go through life not understanding that that is who we belong to. That is whose we are. That we are children of the most powerful being that can ever exist, that exists and can ever exist for eternity. In every area of life, everything from the physical to the spiritual realm, to nature that you can see, and the elements of nature, here on earth and beyond in the solar system, in every place that exists and can exist, God is the most powerful being to ever exist, and that who will ever exist, and no one and nothing can stand against him and win. That's who we serve, But today we're going to look at the power of God to resurrect the dead, resurrect your life. I think we've talked a lot, or I hear a lot of sermons about Lazarus being raised, but very few about this particular dead man being raised. This one is in Luke 7 from verse 11. It says, "And it came to pass the day after that he went into a city called Nain, and many of his disciples went with him, and much people. Now when he came nigh to the gate of the city, behold, there was a dead man carried out, the only son of his mother, and she was a widow, and much people of the city was with her. And when the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her, and said unto her, Weep not. And he came and touched the bier. And they that bare him stood still. And he said, Young man, I say unto thee, arise. And he that was dead sat up and began to speak. And he delivered him to his mother. And there came a fear on all, and they glorified God, saying, that a great prophet is risen up among us, and that God hath visited his people. And this rumor of him went forth throughout all Judea and throughout all the region round about." So what is it that you see from this about Jesus? What do you see? What do you hear? For me, what I'm seeing is that Jesus didn't even say, tell me his name. What's his name, lady? We don't know his name. We don't even know the woman's name. Jesus just said, Young man, I say to thee, arise. So he comes up directly, it looks like to me, in front of this bear, right? Which is the thing that they're carrying the dead body on, the corpse on. And the people were carrying him, right? So they stood still. And then he says, Young man, I say to thee, arise, right? So just simple, just simple power. God isn't, his power, when someone is powerful, they don't have to be like extra, right? He can just be simple. Young man, get up. That's what Jesus said. And he that was dead sat up and began to speak. I can imagine what that woman must have felt. Just incredible gratitude. She must, I mean, from one moment, one encounter with Jesus changed her life from mourning to rejoicing. Just one encounter. Whenever we encounter the presence and the power of God, everything changes. It just changes. Whatever is impossible is possible. Whatever is dead lives. Whatever is lacking is restored in abundance. That's what I see. And for this particular one, this young man wasn't yet buried, but with Lazarus was buried for days and Jesus rose him. There is no life and nothing that is beyond the power of God. If you turn to him, if you reach out to the Lord, right? Nothing and no one. It doesn't matter what is going on in your life. It doesn't matter how anything looks. It doesn't matter what people say. You come in contact with the presence and the power of the Almighty God, everything changes, and it changes for the better. You know, he turns your mourning into rejoicing, into joy. He is a God who sustains us. He is a God who resurrects. He's the God who is the meaning and definition of what life is. The whole view and understanding and definition of life is of God. It's by God and of God. And nothing exists anywhere except God allows it to exist. You know, and every knee will one day bow and say, Jesus Christ is Lord. Every single knee. Bible says so, and it's going to happen. You know, so you might as well bow now, right? You might as well bow now, because one day every knee will bow. So that is it from me on the power of God. I hope that in just really talking this through and reflecting on some of these scriptures, of course, this is a huge study. It's a vast topic. There's no way we can even touch on the depth of the power of God. But I think it's worth reminding ourselves that we belong to a Father who is powerful, and magnifying his presence in our journey, in our lives, that we don't have to creep along life, right? Dragging as if, oh, woe is me. Like God is up in heaven wringing his hands saying your problems are too difficult. No, we serve a God who is able and wants to provide what we need, deliver us when we need deliverance, restore what we need restored, heal. He wants to heal you. He's a Father who is full of joy. God is not wondering, oh, how am I going to solve this problem? It's all solved. It's been solved before the foundation of the world. Bible says so. And so we can trust him and rest in him and on his promises. So beloved, that's it from me. We're going to be starting on a new series tomorrow. I hope you join me then. Have a great day. Bye-bye.